Deep fly ball way back center field. Back goes Ken Griffey Jr. to the wall. He snags it. It is highway robbery. Call the police. Attaboy the kid. Folks, Talking Shop, episode 122. I first wanna say hello, Chad Chop. Hello, Sean Flicky. You're looking good. You're sounding good. We're stepping up our game a little bit. Chopper got a new computer, a microphone, same beard. Chopper, let's go to you first. Why do you look so good? Why do you sound so good?
Man, yeah, I got a new MacBook and feeling good about it.
Not a
And
sponsor.
we're ready. Not a sponsor yet. The apple of our eye, so to speak. But yeah, feeling good, feeling great. We had our 5:30 a.m. sunrise swipes with the high school and some college athletes before school. And back here, banging out the pod. Then me and Bo are going to go get some work in the cage, and then we're going to head to the links, play in the
Wow.
man scramble.
Big day, big day. Your name on the Zoom says Debbie Chop because that's the diesel. She's the one who set this up for you.
I don't hate it. I'll fix it, but I
She
don't hate it.
basically said, Chopper, I got this. You
Yep.
wake up, you get your loudmouth soup, and look good for the boys. So
Gotta
we want
work
to
on
give
the head
Diesel a
chop.
shout out there, add a girl, and wow, that's a nice day for you there. Maybe a little Bed Bath and Beyond after that two-man scramble.
See if we have time. Yeah, we'll see if we have time.
Coach Flick Money in the Pacific Northwest got to be on fuego right now. Seattle Mariners are looking good. Where do we find you? Because you're mic'd up, ready to go too, Coach.
Coach, good morning. Good morning, Chopper. What a beautiful day to be alive. Feed me peanuts and call me Mary Swanson because my heart's going to California. Beautiful. It's beautiful up here. Absolutely gorgeous in Seattle. Mariners look good. Tigers are back in it. So I feel like the American League, I'm going to be really happy with American League playoff baseball, no matter which way this thing goes. And I will also just say, Coach, I haven't seen you look this clean shaven, this young. I'm gonna go 2000 and I'm gonna make it right. I'm gonna say it right now. I think 2007 might have been the
Yeah.
last time I saw you look this young, this fresh faced. How you
Well,
doing? Give us
well,
an update.
if you're listening on Napster or your AOL Instant Messenger Spotify app, then flip over to the YouTube because I got a haircut. And yes, I went Bic razor to the face. And you know who loved it? Not my family. My daughters, Avery and Aubrey, teared up because it looked a bit foreign to them. It wasn't belly cry, but it was a tear up. And then the wife basically said, "Not going to hug you, not going to kiss you until that scruff comes back." And I blame it on two things. One, yes, that they're not used to it. It's a brand new look. It's like if you think of your dad with that big mustache, Papa Doug Lowe, always big mustache, Raleigh Fingers-esque, and he would shave it from time to time. And I just went, who's that guy? Very foreign. But also, what happens when you get the 5 o'clock shadow is it burns if I try to give Mrs. Ballgame a smooch, right? That there's a burning sensation. It's not the soft big beard. Either way, I did it because the beard is now almost fully gray, or let's just call it white. I didn't get much salt and pepper phase. So I think this is where we want to start today on the pod. A lot of beards out there listening to this pod. When it starts to gray, do you shave it like this, where I feel like I look maybe 8, 9 years younger? Or do you dye the white beard black, a la Mr. O'Day, head coach of Ohio State football? For me, I feel like the dyeing of the beard, it is not as authentic, right? I'm either going to be me, or I'm not going to do anything. So me is this clean shave or just let the beard rock and roll. You guys, I think, still have you're holding on to a little more dark than I am in the beard. So let's go to Chad Chop first. Um, as you're starting to get some wisdom in that beard, uh, what do you do here?
I mean, for me personally, I leave it. I rock it, and
And the
you
family likes it.
same deal. Like I've told you guys, if I shave the beard, Bo is very unhappy. He's very upset. Titus will hit me with the, "Hey, why'd you do that?" Very inquisitive. The older boys don't mind one way or the other. They'll tell me I look younger. They'll hit you with a compliment. But the authenticity of a child, they'll tell you the truth and say you made a critical error. Fortunately, I'm very Italian, and the beard starts coming back as I'm shaving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I let it go, man. I haven't touched my hair. I haven't done a lot for a long time, and so I feel good about it. I feel natural. Grizzly Adams did have a beard, and I feel good about it.
I kind of feel like the beard is makeup for men.
Yeah.
It just makes you look a wee bit better. Sean Flicky, your thoughts on beard game?
Coach, I swing from the facial hair vine. I'll go clean shaven. Next year I could come with a mohawk right under my nose, all the way down, spiked up, dyed purple. You don't know where I'm coming,
Just
okay?
went almost went spit take there. I've never heard of that one.
I think it's fun to change it up. As far as we know, we get one shot at this life, Coach. I say let's have some fun with it. I just want to give you a big shout out because I too, many times in my life, have attempted to do something thinking with the intention I'm going to do this for someone else. They're going to love the way this feels. And then only to find out they hate the other part of it so much that it actually negates the good attempt at the soft, tender smooches with the bra. I feel for you, man. I want to give you a vulnerability salute. Where's
Yeah,
this
we're
one?
going vulnerability
Vulnerability
here.
salute. And you know what? The best part is it's always changing. We're always changing. You can always
Never
grow it back.
changing. But we did. Uh, it, Anybody watch Bluey out there, listener? Well, we watched an episode of Bluey, and I'm always feeling dad shame from Bandit, the dad. He's just always creative. He's always doing fun things with the kids. So I said, I'm going Bandit here. The girls start school Thursday, big week, sixth grade and second grade. So I go, okay, here's the deal. We're going to have a practice run, a dry rehearsal, a dress rehearsal, if you will. I'm the teacher, and Avery, Aubrey, Mom, y'all are the students. Pack your bags, pack your lunch, get dressed as if it was the first day of school, and teacher Bandit will be your professor. So I have a Bandit costume, full on onesie that looks just like Bandit, Bluey's dad, and I'm ready to go. I got note cards dialed in. The girls come down in their school clothes. Mrs. Ballgame, dressed a bit like a Saturday Night Live character. Um, that Kate McKinnon, if you're familiar with the Kate McKinnon who gets lost on Mars with Martians, she comes dressed in as Kate McKinnon, and she says, "I'm gonna dress like this until your beard grows back out." Well, we spent a good 30 minutes, exploring the space, and I was very proud that we actually did something fun. The girls were very excited about it. By the end, they were like, "Ah, that got weird," and but we didn't do the same thing. We didn't just go to the pool or watch a show. We tried something different. So I was happy about that. I want to do more of that as a dad. Snap in the chat there if you're with me on that. But yeah, all that to say, the beard's coming back and it's just going to stay. And the clock is ticking, Coach Flick Money. Just a few weeks. I fly to Spokane, September 3. The you're driving the old Dumb and Dumber mobile across the great state of Washington, and we got our September Sandlot tour ready to rock. Yeah, I've got Spokane with one Coach Flicky, his Old Stomping Grounds, Spokane, Washington on September 4. Then we drive that night to Wenatchee and find a hotel or a motel, not opposed. And I've got a school speaking engagement that morning before a sandlot in Wenatchee that night. And then we pop over to the home of Sean Flicky for a doubleheader on the 6th, Snohomish, West Seattle, then a red eye to Maryland. Let's go. Coach Alligator will be joining me in Maryland and Long Island. And then Flick Money's back to Boston for 3 in Massachusetts before we take a 10-hour drive to Cleveland, Indianapolis, through the Midwest, Branson, Missouri. Let's go. And then over to Kentucky, Tennessee, Carolina. That's going to be a September to remember. Flick Money, anything you're excited about as we embark on a September to remember, as spoken by Wyclef Jean?
I'll be going till November. I'll be going till November. Coach, for me, taking the Sandlot tour and starting it, launching it in Spokane, Washington, which is where I really launched most of the life that I remember. I came online as a child in standing in Spokane, Washington. That's where I live. That's where I have a lot of history. I've got some my dearest old friends there. I'm so excited to get us going there. You know, the tour of the Wenatchee Valley, coach special relationship, getting back to West Seattle and Snohomish. There's a lot that I'm looking forward to. I've got some old teammates, former professional and college teammates who are clamoring. They're like, "Are you coming to Massachusetts? Can we get some FaceTime? Can we get a Red Sox game in?" So, shout out John Graham if you're listening. We're going to try to make it happen, brother. Although the itinerary gets pretty packed sometimes, coach. So I don't want to make promises I can't keep. But we got there's people out there who are excited that we're coming to town.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the 11th. You could fly in, catch a Thursday game, but then we'll have to jet after Sudbury, Mass. Uh, Drive all day on the 15th to get to Cleveland, Ohio. That's a hefty one. So big travel day on the 15th, but there could be some golf. There's always great food and a lot of familiar faces. I treat it as an excuse to see all of my college friends and meet all their kids. Literally, I'm shipping merch and books to friends I've had for 25 years almost, and I'm going to stay in some of their guest rooms and, you know, try and cook them some great spaghetti. But episode 122, here we are. If this is your first episode, where you been? We are a pod that tries to solve problems for that mom and dad navigating youth sports. There's some other great podcasts out there that are doing the same thing. I look at Greg Olson with You Think. I look at Jeff Francoeur with Pure Athlete. And I'm collaborating with both of them on projects here in the future. So look out. But we're all on the same team. We're all working in the same direction to bring a little common sense, joy, just some reason to this world. So before we get to your questions, we have some great topics that you, the listener, have sent in. Shout out to Caden Taylor Carpenter, my nephew. It's his birthday today. He is the big 1-2. He's 12 years old. So an attaboy wherever you are, loud as can be. Make it weird if you're in a public place. Have people look around. But give Caden, my nephew, an attaboy on three. 1, 2, 3. Attaboy. He bravery salute for him. He's starting tackle football, and we had a chat. You know, he we've talked a lot about how does a parent navigate, you know, giving their son or daughter constructive criticism in the car or with anything to do with youth sports. And his mom and dad came to me and they're like, I think we got to pass this one off to Uncle G. They call me Uncle G. When they were a baby, they couldn't say J, so they just say G. And I said, you know what? That's exactly what you should do. So I had a little sit down chat with him. He was afraid. He got bruised up. He's not the biggest 12-year-old, and he's got hit a little bit. And we had a nice chat. The the coolest part about it was as soon as he sat down, he wasn't hiding it. He opened up and said, "You know what? I'm afraid. I don't like the pain. It hurts. Um, uh, I like football. I like a lot of parts of football, but not that." So we had a nice chat, and for some reason things turned around. The next couple practices got a little bit better, and he's got his first game on Friday. So we're going to go cheer him on. But bravery salute, hand over the heart there for that. Also, me and the girls came up. We had a yes day this weekend. We have an annual yes day where anything they ask, as long as it's within reason, I have to say yes. And on that yes day, where we did many fun things, including a mani pedi, you betcha, we came up with a new salute, the imagination salute, where it's kind of like octopus fingers just going out away from the brain right here. Imagination salute. Kids um, like to use their imagination. We as coaches should tap into that, not push back against it. As long as they're being respectful to the group, hey, let them use their imagination. Which brings me to my shout out number two. This episode got a lot of love. It's the ADHD episode. And while I'm finding this shout out, Coach Flick Money, this is coming down the pike. Let the listener know what you've been working on, that's going to land on the Coach Ballgame University, but it's going to be a flicky class, a flicky joint. What have you been working on?
Yeah, coach, we're so much response and so many questions. And we had coaches and parents write and say, hey, please, if you do something, include this piece that's really worked with my young player. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a spotlight course on working with not just ADHD, but also neurodivergent, which is the term for anyone who's working with a different set of a different onboard set of hardware. Um, uh, their brain works differently in some way. And, we think, well, maybe it's just one or two kids. Actually, the numbers would say it's a lot more than we realize. And a lot of kids never go in and actually get diagnosed. But there's ADHD, ADD, which doesn't have the hyperactivity, but still has the challenges with attention. We've got some kids on the autism spectrum. We've got kids with what are also known as personality disorders. So there's a whole range of things, and it can present different ways. So we just want to give coaches a tool belt. If I get some kids on my team that are working with neurodivergence, how do I work with them? How can I be effective? And the funny thing is, a lot of the tools are same things that we talk about here, but they're amped up in some way or modified in some way. It just turns out being a great coach requires a lot of curiosity. It requires tools. We all need them. We're all learning how to do this thing together. And so I'm so excited, Coach, to be partnering with you. I pulled in some other great professionals and humans, and I think we're going to have an outstanding spotlight course coming out here shortly.
Oh man, I'm just going to mediate. I'm going to sit back and learn because this is something I've learned a lot about. But at the beginning of my coaching days, this threw me off. This was a snag for me, and I didn't know how to handle it. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate, and we've gotten a lot of attention. One email came in from Dr. Ray. So another shout out to Dr. Ray. We're going to have him as a guest on the pod. But 25 plus years of coaching and working in this field, a lot of street cred, 6 years as a high school special education teacher. Coach Ray bringing it in hot. But he just had a few tips. One, bringing connection to the top of the list. Kids with ADHD can be difficult because they often bring the chaos. Um, Either way, they have to consistently receive the message that we love and value them. That is something that Coach Flicky taught me in person, and he said this on the pod a few episodes ago. Go back and listen if you haven't. But they walk into a room feeling this vibe of, you know what, I'm not really wanted here. That's their baseline. That's their ground zero. Another point he made, vary the teaching methods, right? There's the visual, which is very critical, especially for boys. And that's not just those with ADHD. Get a whiteboard, draw things. A lot of these kids, they're not going to consume what they hear. When my daughters, and I am not diagnosed with ADHD, but when my daughters or when my wife read me Instructions for a game, I got nothing. I don't hear it. I don't taste it. I don't smell it. I'm like, let's just do a dry run. Give me a practice run. Let's play this one time, and then I got it. I need to do it. Some need to see it. I like to actually do it. I need to build the dresser wrong twice before I build it right. Same with the crib, and my wife knows all about that. Lastly, one of his biggest pet peeves is when coaches respond to kids asking questions with the frustrated, "We've been over this before." Kids need to be taught multiple times before they really start to understand something, especially kids with ADHD. And my advice to coaches is teach and reteach as if it's the first time, right? So a huge shout out and just giving his free advice over 25 years of doing this. Coach Ray, we're going to have you on the pod, and we'll have this. I think maybe when we release the spotlight course of Coach Flicky, we'll have you on to chat about this. But I appreciate all of you that listen in from all walks of life, and we love when you give feedback or you throw some bones our way because we don't have it all figured out. I think that's the point of this is coaches, you're never going to have it all figured out. Keep learning, keep growing. So bingo, bango, bongo. Before our first topic today, which is kids that are scared to swing the bat in the games. Anything else to hit to button up that first segment?
I
We
want to
good?
I want to share the quote of the day last night because I thought
Let's
it was
go.
good for our practice last night for the Pups fam. The quote is from Roy T. Bennett, and it is: "Attitude is a choice, happiness is a choice, optimism is a choice, kindness is a choice, giving is a choice, respect is a choice. Whatever choice you make makes you. So choose wisely." Bang,
Choice.
bang.
Choose. On the topic of quotes, I was listening to Joe Madden's podcast. Him and Tom Verducci have a podcast called Book of Joe. Great book. Joe Madden is on my Mount Rushmore for shizzle. Um, and he had a quote from William Shakespeare: "The enemy of joy is expectations." Bill Shakespeare. The
Bill.
the enemy of joy is expectations. Sometimes our expectations are not met, and that can create lack of joy. So, um, uh, I that hit me. That hit me in a interesting way. I wonder if you guys have any um flick money. How does Bill Shakespeare hit you there with the end of joy is expectation?
Yeah. Well, how does it hit me? That's been hitting me for many, many moons in my life, Coach. Uh, I think,
Like a Mike Tyson round.
oh, I mean, over and over and over, like over and over and over. And so this is where it folds in perfectly with Chopper. Given that we know this about our brain loves to start pushing the bar of what I expect to happen up to here. And then if it doesn't happen, let's say we only got made this much progress. I thought we were going to make this much progress. And rather than being able to celebrate the progress, we only see the deficit of what we didn't get. That's a little bit of the way that of the nature of the human mind. So what can we do? Well, we can choose. To Chad Chop's point, we can choose to say, you know what? Yes, I would like it to be up here, but I'm gonna make sure that we consciously make an effort to celebrate each step forward by each player, knowing that not everybody's got their A game every day. Some people are wrestling with things, and we want to honor and respect what is happening. And sometimes we all know a good obstacle for someone or for a team, for my unit, a, a rough patch. That's exactly what we need to torpedo us to that next area of growth. And so trying to just meet everything where it's at and see that be grateful, choose joy, choose respect, respect the process, respect where people are coming from. I think it's a beautiful, you guys looped in beautifully today, and I'm excited to see where these questions go. Let's choose. I'm choosing joy right now.
Well, I
Choosing
tell you, and we talk about when kids have issues, let's not just be a calming presence, but let's give them some practical steps moving towards that goal. For me, and maybe you guys can add to this, when I see a kid who's looking at the cup half empty instead of half full, maybe they're throwing their helmet, having a fit. One practical thing that works is a 4 and 6. Mookie Betts talked about this on our podcast. Shout out to episode, I don't know, 4 or 5. It was early on, but he does it in the on deck circle every single at bat. He breathes in the nose for 4 seconds. Let's all do that, men and women out there, and then slowly blow it out your mouth for 6 seconds. The science behind that is there's already carbon, is it carbon, one of the oxides already built into the chest, so we need to breathe out a little bit longer than we breathe in. So in for 4, out for 6, and that's a practical thing you can do for kids. And I like to do it maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe arms above the head, maybe eyes closed. But it reboots the brain, and it's a good practical way. Chopper, you have any practical tips for choosing joy, right? Easier said than done in these big moments of sadness or failure.
Yeah. I told the boys last night, it's the drive over to the yard, right? So for me, it's you make a choice. What vibe am I going to bring? What energy am I going to bring? Who can I uplift? You can kind of predetermine what you're going to bring to a practice or a game or a workplace with your drive. And so it's a choice. It really is. You're choosing, hey, I'm going to be a fountain. I'm going to encourage. I'm going to be a light. And oftentimes we can't control what happens to us in a game, in life. I had the boys raise their hand last night. Who knows anyone in their family that's gotten sick, or had something where like, that's not fair. What did I do to deserve that? But even in that moment, you get to choose. So I just think it's kind of a predetermined decision that you make on the way to anything. All right, what's my vibe going to be? Independent of whatever happens. And so, but gosh, thinking about hearing you talk about how important breathing is, we had an episode this morning with one of our high school boys, a very talented young man who was having a tough round. And by the way, for our listeners, anytime you're trying to grow or improve, I heard this really good rule of like, it's the rule of thirds when you're trying to improve. When you're working on a craft, a third of the day should be exceptional. Man, that was awesome. That was great. That was fun. That was almost easy or very rewarding. A third of the day should be neutral, and then a third of the day should be like, gosh, that was awful. I did not like that at all. And so today was one of those moments where he had a really tough moment, threw his bat, and I missed an opportunity probably in that moment to be, hey, let's just breathe. I tried to encourage him with some kindness and a good word, but the power of that deep breath can kind of, like you said, reset us. And it gets oxygen back to our vital organs and slows our heart rate down. So there's a kind of a physical benefit too. But yeah, I just tell them, hey, choose, make a choice.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Flick money. Practical baby step.
for the littles, I'm in the littles world,
Oh yeah.
in my home. And so we've been doing this thing with frustration specifically because frustration, there's an anger, there's an energy underneath it that sometimes isn't ready to be met with a nice calm breath. And so what we've been doing is we've been rooting our feet into the ground, and we've been swinging the torso side to side and I don't have space for it, but letting the arms swing and letting the arms swing back and forth and kind of like noodles and kind of flat slap yourself. And you do that, a solid swing back and forth and with a real aggressive arm flap, it's almost impossible to stay frustrated within 10, 15 seconds, they're either laughing or have forgotten about it or just like, this is what are we doing? And but it's a physical movement that allows energy to move out of the body. And so I've been working on that with for the little ones. I would say probably under eights, you're good there, maybe under sevens. But this, one tool, something to get some energy moving, coach.
And man, I like that and make it playful. Like, all right, kids, team meeting. Let's root our feet in the ground here. Let's make it a game. Who can wiggle the most? I'm trying to think of an animal that flails. It's big, pterodactyl arms, flapping yourself without moving your feet. Yeah, the kids are going to start laughing, giggling, become engaged. So, bang. Hello, everybody. Quick break from the podcast to tell you about the Coach Ballgame University. It's my online course that I've worked the last 5 years on. We've got the playbook, which is the psychology of coaching, how to engage, how to build trust, how to run effective practices. And that's for any sport, all ages. That's the playbook. Also, within the Coach Ballgame University universe is my skills course, which is baseball and softball specific for the eight and unders. The basic ways to teach the skill of catch, throw, field, hit, base running, rules of the game, and a lot of different stations you can create in your practices to make it fun, to make the skills fun to learn for the kids. So that's the skills course. We also have 12 pre-built practice plans for that eight and under baseball or softball team. So that's the Coach Ballgame University. You can see it at my website, coachballgame.com. It's also in the link in my bios on all my social medias. Boom. Um, all right, let's get right to it. That we've got a 9-year-old here who is got some talent. The problem is he won't swing in games. He watches pitches. He got hit by a pitch that he saw, and that's really what's got him backing off on his heels. And I need some advice as his 9-year-old, as the dad of this 9-year-old. Well, I did a webinar on getting hit by a pitch. So go to my website and click on that at the Coach Ballgame University. It's the most common email I get. So I spent an hour, created a curriculum. It's for the coach, it's for the parent, and it's for the kid. I talk directly to the kid as well. Um, but aside from that, you see this a lot, Chopper. You see kids, maybe there's one version in the cage and there's a totally different version in the game, and I can speak to that. They are different. They feel different for a kid. The game seems to be moving faster. There's an umpire back there. The parent all the parents are there watching. So scared to swing in the games. Let's start with you, Chaparoo. What do you got for this dad of a 9-year-old?
Trying to change the mindset. Now, understand the fear is real, and that feeling is real, and the perception's reality for the athlete. So, the fear of the ball is a real thing. It hurts. You can do like tennis balls and stuff like that. Teach them how to properly turn their shoulder to protect their hand and their face. But aside from the fear piece, just thinking yes out of hand. Like I'm swinging. I'm synchronized swimming or dancing with the pitcher. When he's coming at me, I'm loading, going at him, and I am slotting my elbow like Kinsler talked on this podcast, Beck, about getting in position to hit a fastball. And so, yes, 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 and you can always check off with the no if it's not the pitch you want, but highly encourage our youngsters to swing. And you know what? Swing and miss, don't care. Swing at a bad pitch, great. Let's just encourage swinging. We're stuck out here in the desert. I like to say you can't walk your way out of the desert, just like you can't walk your way off the island for the Dominicans and our other folks from other exotic, beautiful places. But thinking aggressive, encouraging when they swing and miss or swing at a pitch, maybe out of the zone. Hey, love the aggression. But yeah, that's what I would say. But I understand that fear is real. And I've got plenty of athletes that I've worked with that are the greatest hitters you've ever seen in practice. And then the game comes around and it's almost crippling for them to perform, and that's real, and you have to respect that.
Um, great points right there. And yeah, you you've got to get on their level for sure. You've got to become the 9-year-old version of yourself and get into their shoes. And remember when you were scared at 9, when you were afraid to fail, whether that be the car ride with mom and dad, maybe the coach was making you do laps if you messed up. But it is real. You've got to relate to them and connect with them first. So, we just talked about my nephew when he was afraid of getting hit in the football practice. Um, First thing I made sure of was that he owned up to it. A lot of kids they'll just hide it, and then you can't go anywhere from there. They need to own up that they are afraid, and then you can say, and that is okay, because I've been there too. And then you've got this good place to start. Flick money, kid won't swing the bat in the game. What do you got?
Just love what Chopper said. I love really helping them feel confident that they have the skills to get out of the way if it's ball fear. It's usually a combination, a little bit afraid of the ball and I'm a little bit afraid of failure. I don't like either one of those things. So then the next piece is the yes, yes, yes hitting mentality. I love that, which needs to be practiced. That needs to be practiced playing wiffle ball. That needs to be practiced, with a pair of socks in his hand in the living room while you're, folding laundry and needs to be a constant practice until that starts to sink in. And like we just talked about, they're going to forget. So we keep reminding them gently as if we're teaching it for the first time, excited for their process. And the other thing I would say, Coach, is how can we recreate the game situation? Because a lot of times in practices, especially young age, we practice in a certain way. Like maybe BP is like a coach, but then the game situation actually they set it up differently. If it's machine pitch, it's at a different distance, or the coach is throwing a little bit harder because it's the game, or maybe at a slightly different distance. And it looks different, it feels different. So just trying to recreate as much of the game situation. You can't even go into the field with a bucket of balls. Go to the actual game field by yourself sometime. Um, and really trying to build that confidence that hey, you've worked on this, you know how to do this. We're a yes, 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 and I'm here for you. I love you no matter what for the whole journey. If you want to take pitches, I don't think you're gonna have as much fun, but I'm here for the whole ride no matter what. You can't do it wrong in my eyes because I love you and I love you unconditionally. But if you want out, here's the way. Here's the plan to get out of this particular situation, and hopefully it inspires them and they want to come along with you.
You guys are good at this. Really, really good answers, and ideas, advice. I have two things. One, on the topic of gamifying your practices. When me and Flick Money hit the road, if you've been to a sandlot or you're thinking about going, there's a ton of games where we're teaching the skills, but they're playing a game. And the more they play, the more they're playing a 6-on-6, 5-on-5 game, the more comfy it gets when they've got to actually put on a uniform and the scoreboard is on. So try to teach within the game. To make that a part of your practice. Every practice is we're going to have a scrimmage. Maybe it's a station in the outfield with a tennis ball, or maybe we're going 6-on-6, 7-on-7 at the end of every practice. But just make them feel comfy. Game, practice, that they're the same thing. And I remember when head coach of Brown University, our man Grant Achilles came on. He said, I don't want it to feel any different. I want that practice to be charged to where the game, I don't have to do anything different. The game almost feels slower. So that there's one. Two, the culture that you're creating of freedom to fail, make aggressive mistakes. I love you unconditionally. This is how we learn. That is so anti everything out there in youth sports and anything inside a kid's brain. It's so foreign. That means you've got to build that culture daily. Every single day, you've got to remind and you've got to praise loudly when somebody makes an aggressive mistake. And you've got to say, hold the phone, stop the press. This kid swung that bat, missed by a mile, but I love it. We've been working on you being aggressive because you can't learn what you can hit unless you swing. That's a great line. I stole it from our mutual friend, Dan Spring. Springer would say, hey, you don't know what you can hit until you swing and try. Springer also on this podcast, great episode as well. But I'm guessing Johnny Mack back in DC, he probably had that same vibe of kids. We don't know what we're bad at until we try, and then we learn from that. So, yeah, that scared to swing thing, that scared to get in the box, that scared to throw that pitch, that scared to play shortstop. Uh, it it's pretty normal in a kid's brain, and the culture of let's overcome this fear by falling flat on our face, very foreign. So we've got to lay it on super thick. Uh, Anything else, boys, before we move on to topic number two?
All I was going to say is, whether this child ends up, we talk a lot about the love of the game, love of play. So, however this process goes, whether they end up being a high school baseball player who loves it, who rolls out of bed at 4:30 to go get extra swipes with Coach Chop, or whether they end up doing, becoming a stagecraft person for the school play, what you want out of this process, keep that as your North Star. We want them to know that I can be honest about that I'm afraid of something. B, I have built-in confidence and tools for how to lean into the fear and how to address it. And see that out of this process, I've grown closer with the people I care about. And I feel proud of myself for how I did it, regardless of the baseball outcome. I think that's a good North Star because no matter what they end up doing in their life, that's going to be an important part of humaning,
Mm-hmm.
no doubt.
Yeah, it kind of needs to be underneath every step you take, every word you say. Chopper,
No, I agree completely.
concur.
Concur.
Bang. Question number two, 8-year-old pitching mechanics. Hey, coach, while pitching at a young age, like 8, do you recommend no leg kick? Our coach seems to have all our pitchers raising that front knee up high, counting to 2, then proceeding to throw. Frankly, these young guys don't have the core strength or balance to hold for 2 seconds, and when they start to get down the line, they're off balance, and it causes them to throw balls. So um, I'll start here with kind of practice versus game. I think this is a station that you set up with a coach where kids are having a makeshift bullpen with their partner. Maybe they're playing a little bit of catch, get on a knee, back it up, Old Dominion, Johnny Rockers, get those legs going. If those terms are foreign to you, then jump on my skills course. Hashtag plug. It's a good one. You'll need it. Um, but that's a great way to practice. Then you get them pitching to each other where they're holding that balance position. I call it balance point one, where the left knee kind of gets parallel with with the ground, and you're up where you could balance a hot cup of milk on your thigh, and hold it there for 5 seconds. Hold it there for 10. And then we'll get to balance point two, which is that good, powerful position where you've got the foot landed and there's power in the back leg before you reach and fire the baseball. Balance, power, fire. Those are three basic words I use for all pitchers, but I think it's a great practice station. Now, when it comes to the game, big fan of the stretch. Absolutely. The windup can cause 8-year-olds to get a little out of whack. We want to crawl before we sprint in all things. But it's the eye test. If they've done that station in practice and it looks like they can hold their balance for 10 seconds and then get to a good position number two, then they're ready in the game and they're going to load up more power on that back leg. But some kids won't be. So I think in that case, maybe it's more of a slide step. Chopper, I'll start with you here. 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, just starting out pitching. Are you wind up? Are you stretch? A little bit of both.
We are we are pure stretch. And you'll have a rare case. I don't want to say only, because you got a few kids that are just advanced and they can, they can do a Johnny Cueto, you know, all kinds of variations with their windup.
The
But
Dominican dandy.
yeah, we just get at the end of catch play, we set them up at the distance they pitch from, and they throw 10 pitches each, a flat ground. And for our guys, we're teaching them obviously the club aspect, but even with little league kids, teach them how to properly come set, make sure they hold, and then hit a balance point. Sometimes we'll have them hold the balance point for 5 seconds. They need to get comfortable in that position, making sure the ankle is under the knee when they hit that balance point. Slight flexion or bend in their dominant or throwing side leg so that they can get comfortable. I teach our boys to hit a balance point, separate on time, and go. Sometimes you'll see with kids, they don't separate on time, and then their arm's late, and then they're inconsistent. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it gets frustrating. So hit a balance point, separate on time, and then aim for a little dime-sized target in the glove. But to say we shouldn't lift our leg or not hit a balance point, um, great question. I love the curiosity in that. But I would say no to your point, ball game. Either do it at the end of catch play or have a station where they get comfortable with it. It's going to feel foreign and awkward for a little bit. The other thing I'd say too is making sure that their head stays over their back leg. And that's a real issue. So sometimes when kids try to hit their balance point, their head will go back off their back leg. And then, like any of us, if our head's not aligned, we're going to lose our balance. And then that's going to get frustrating and inconsistent. So, teaching them how to hit a good balance point, separate on time, aim for a dive size target.
Yeah, simplicity to a point. I think the
Yeah,
breaking point for me on simplicity is if it's going to hurt their arm. If you're trying to simplify the pitching motion with a slide step, yeah, if you're watching on the YouTube, bang, mustache salute. Which one's
Mike
that?
Chop. That's big Mike Chop.
Big Mike Chop. Attaboy, Big Mike Chop.
Senior.
Wow, heading to school senior year. Attaboys for him.
Kiddo.
Um, if you're promoting just a slide step where there's no leg kick, then a lot of 8-year-olds are going to use arm only, which can hurt their arm. And when I say simplicity to a point, if you're going to abuse the arm or cause physical harm, then we're doing something wrong. So I would agree. Teaching this balance point one of getting over their back leg and teaching to pitch downhill from the legs is huge. And go back and listen to the episode where we saved Little League baseball. Did we just save Little League? Where we talk about when you get in game, have a discussion with the other coach. Hey, we want these kids to learn how to pitch. We want them to learn how to get to a balance point. But if the game is slowing to a miserable halt, then let's create some sort of hybrid. Maybe a coach comes in, front flip, side toss, whatever, to get a ball in play to get kids moving. Um, that's something I think most rec and maybe even travel clubs can do if they wanted to, if both coaches agree to it. Flick money. I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, I appreciate the question, and I'm with Chopper. The balance point is critical to learn that. That's an athletic movement we need. We need to be able to balance on one leg, head over the back, weight distributed slightly over the back leg more with the head. And I think that's a critical athletic skill. So I'm not down on that coach for doing that at all. I understand where he's going. And I also understand you're like watching it from as a parent, you're like, wow, some of these kids are really struggling with this piece. Well, that's okay. The struggle is okay. One thing you could do, and I've seen, I'm not a pitching coach, I'm primarily a hitting guy, but I have seen great pitching coaches. Those they're very inexpensive. They're those very thin rubber bands that are stretchy that pitchers can sometimes use for things. You can get the longer ones, and you can have a partner when the kid gets from behind. The pitching coach holds it wrapped around the pitcher's waist. So when he lifts up and he gets the 2 seconds, you got someone kind of holding you with that stretchy band, and then you can kind of let them at 1, 2, and you can kind of help them ease down the hill and get that down the hill feeling as a sort of support. And so maybe invest in one of those, could cost you a couple bucks, and it'll help your player out. And and you can suggest it. Hey, I've seen this good pitching drill. You can say this to the coach. This is me talking to you, your coach, as you in this particular play. Hey, coach. Hey, great job. I really love what you're doing. Thanks for the balance point piece. I can see you're trying to build some energy in their bodies so that they can get more velocity in the ball. That's great. And I saw this great thing with these bands. Would it be something if I supported you getting some? Is that be something we could use as a team so we can support their balance and getting this 2 second hold look a little more athletic? But hey, I also love to buy you a cup of coffee and scene.
And scene. By the way, coffee. Tom Hanks got his own coffee now. Hanks, you can get it at Walmart. We're not making any money off this plug, but all of the proceeds go to families of veterans. So, golly, I love that Tom Hanks, and apparently it's some really good coffee. So go get him some Hanks coffee. Skibbity bop, another quick break from the pod to tell you about our supporters. Who's powering the Talkin' Shop podcast? Well, it starts with Warstick. They are my equipment sponsor, the bat, the glove, the epic swag. I'm wearing the hat right now. Go to Warstick's website, Attaboy 15% off any of their stuff, and it's good stuff. That's Warstick. Thank you very much. We're also powered by Squares. These shoes that I wear, there's turfs, there's cleats, there's golf shoes. They're amazing. They're comfy. Squares. Go to the Squares website. Attaboy10 is the promo code there. 10% off, and they're sweet shoes, and they smell good. And lastly, we're powered by Thromo. The promo code for the Thromo website is Attaboy. And this is a mat that really teaches kids how to step when they throw to a target. It also works for hitting as well. Very basic. You just put this mat down, and it gives these kids a great straight line to step down, to throw down, to step when they hit. It's a beauty. I like things basic, and this is basic. Final question of the day, and then we'll see you next week, is a rec versus travel ball question. We get about one of these per week, but we got a mom here who's having a hard time with youth rec versus travel ball. The city offers both options. However, the rec ball option has been infiltrated by travel ball ideologies. My husband and I have a baseball loving 12-year-old, solid player, but we didn't want to take the travel ball route with him because of the bad culture, win at all cost mentality. We just wanted him to play baseball in a neighborhood environment, which is what rec ball should be. However, the city supports a rec ball team, which also runs a travel ball team. The players for that travel team need to play on a rec team during their travel season. It's creating all kinds of problems for families wanting a rec ball environment for their boys. What's your recommendation? Are there other cities doing this better? Can travel ball and rec ball exist in the same realm? Um, Thank you, Mom, in Florida, who is asking these great questions. Man, Chopper, I pass it to you as you are not in that state, but you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of rec travel, all of it. So, what do we got for this mom?
It's very difficult to combine travel and rec. It's not impossible. You need the right vibe from travel. But this is my issue with Little League, right? Because Little League is rec, and then what happens when All Stars come around? Bro, it's chaos because now it's competitive, and now there's you're going to make the team and not make the team, and feelings are hurt and dreams are crushed, and so this isn't just a travel versus rec. This is real. So I think it's critical for the parents. We say this a lot on this pod. Don't try to shape the world for your kid. Prepare your kid for the world. And so it's conversations. It's like, hey, yeah, I see how that family and that boy are acting. I don't like it either. It doesn't feel great, but we can't control how they act. We get to control how we act. We get to control the vibe that we bring. And maybe incrementally we can bring them closer to what we think is right. The flip side of that fence is they're saying, man, why doesn't Johnny care enough? And so it really comes down to all of us respecting each other's opinions um, and feelings. And so you can't control how the other folks do it. All you can do is try to be the best version of yourself and try to help nudge them closer to what you think is important and valuable. Clearly, this mom thinks and knows what's important to her. And I agree with it. I agree with the path they've taken. I take a different path. I try to do a both and to use a flickyism. And hey, let's be really competitive and really compassionate, um, and try to get really, really good at this thing and have the most fun ever doing it. And there's other folks that doesn't matter what happens, they just want to have fun, and I get it. They're kids, so gosh. But just to go back to my original point, dude, like if anyone thinks that Little League is just rec, all right, talk to me on All Stars. You got my number. Set up a one-on-one. Baseball@chatchop.com. Baseball@chatchop.com. I'll be here for you, ready to talk about how competitive this rec league has become right before summer.
Yeah, yeah. Before I pass it to Flicky, I love that, and I think Chopper, you harden me in a healthy way where it's like at a certain point we got to get these kids ready for the world, and the Truman Show perfect world that this mom is looking for. I think it only lives in a neighborhood sandlot that you create. That's why I did it, because I noticed the space here in California where there were a lot of parks with a backstop not being used and a lot of kids quitting the game because of this exact point. So don't be afraid to find the heart and soul of that community, that PE teacher, that chaplain that can run a fun neighborhood game, and maybe that's a weekly gig. That's what I do on a weekly basis after schools here in Orange County, California. But yeah, when you get into rec ball, boy, it shifts when we get to All Stars. My kid didn't make the All Star team. And then I did a post on this. Travel ball can be great. And I've seen a lot of great travel ball coaches teach love of play to an elite player. I've seen a lot of uneducated and angry at the world rec coaches um, do the opposite, where they make a kid want to quit. So, Flick Money, speaking of both and flickisms, what do you got for this mom?
Wow. Well, I mean, I think we all agree that travel ball was largely born out of frustration by parents who or adults who were left out of that equation, Chopper. When it got to All-Star time, decisions are being made, and all of a sudden, because, once Cody Webster and the Kirkland, shout out Kirkland, Washington Little League team goes on national television in '82 and are become national heroes, all of a sudden these all-stars, this also that, Taiwan had won it like 15 of 16 years before that or whatever. But once it became like a thing, all of a sudden these all-stars they get a lot more serious, and there's a lot of adults who are unhappy with how those decisions were being made, whether some of it's not transparent. So that's really what drove travel ball. And then now there's a financial component, which is a lot of guys who like baseball or played baseball to a certain degree. We're out here making a living because it's something that we love to do and we loved what it did for us in our life. So that financial motivation's there also. That's how we got here. Having said that, they're both rec ball and travel ball are a reality. So let's deal with the reality. The reality is, mom, your intentions are so good, and I have a feeling you are raising an outstanding human being. That boy has, at 12 years old, has parents who've cared so much about his experience as a child and being able to play and enjoy himself and learn in all the natural ways. That's awesome. Well, what a lucky kid. Um, when is the right time to start introducing this competitive aspect? If it were me, I would say 12 is right about the time that this is junior high, middle school, seventh grade. The hormones are starting to flow. It's going to be natural for young men to be starting to compete on a lot of levels. And so this is an okay time to have this discussion. And I just think it's more opportunity for you to build your relationship with your child. Hey, we're going to do this because you love baseball, but just pay attention to what they're saying. If it's taking the love out of it for them, maybe baseball's not their thing. But if they love ball, they're going to have to learn how to deal with the uber competitive coach and the screamer and the yeller and these guys. We don't like it, but we have to learn how to deal with it in order to be a part of this competitive world. And I'd say 12 seems to be about the right time. Now, having some experience in Florida, I'm guessing it's pretty intense. We're not talking about your garden variety intense. There's an intensity to baseball and just adult mentality in that state that I know from personal experience can be really, really high. So, yeah, just make sure you're in that conversation with your young person. You know, if it starts to become detrimental, then let's make a different move. But we have to face the world head on sometimes, Coach. It's the
Now
way it
we do,
goes.
no doubt about it. But don't be afraid to snoop around and shop around. There are travel ball coaches running great practices, trying to win games, but not at the cost of these kids' futures, their careers. There are great coaches like Chopper choosing career over win, their career over coaches win. Chopper.
Yeah, this is a sort of a spin-off because this is not completely applicable, but it popped into my heart and I want to say it. I was talking to Debbie about college recruiting, right? And she's like, man, it is so hard nowadays and blah, 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 and saying all these things. And I was like, hang on a second. It's supposed to be hard. And the guys that get on the other side of it got there and earned it. And the guys that don't, that are complaining about how hard it is, didn't do enough. And so that is not completely applicable to what we're talking. In fact, it's not even that applicable at all. But I do want to say, embrace the suck, right? Like if you want to choose baseball, and if this mom is not saying that, she's saying, hey, this is supposed to be fun. It's getting weird. We don't like it. Okay, well, at a certain point, figure out what your son or daughter wants to do. What are they passionate about? What are they willing to go through a lot to get to that end result, and put them in that, right? This rec stuff, do it. This is great. It's awesome. I love it. I think what you said was brilliant, ball game. Like, don't just think that there's only the little league option. Like, there is a great pillar of the community like Coach Ballgame in Orange County, California, that is providing this service of like, dude, let's go have fun and let's play. And like, oh, you're an outcast over there. You're welcome here and you're loved and you matter. And I love you and I see you for who you are right here in your genes. That's powerful and it's impactful. But I also want to encourage those that want to get nasty at something. And I'm not saying just baseball. It's going to be hard. There's going to be hard days. That third rule, right? There's going to be days where it's like, what am I doing? Don't stop. It's designed to be hard. Anything we're doing is difficult. And so I want to encourage those that are listening to this, that are moms and dads, do not set the tone of like, that's too hard. I don't even know how to do it. No, dude. Like, yeah, little Jimmy, it's really hard. So let's get after it. Let's knock over the wall and jump over the barrier and freaking get after it. I'm fired up right now all of a sudden.
I love it. It reminds me of the scene in Moneyball where Brad Pitt comes in to try and recruit one of the Giambis. I think Chris Pratt is in the room with Ron Washington, and that Brad Pitt's like, "You think you can play first base?" And he's like, how hard can it be?" And Ron Washington says, "It's incredibly hard."
Yeah, that's Chris
Um,
Pratt as Scott Hatterberg, former Washington
Hatterberg,
State
That's
that's
Cougar
Hattie.
what it
Scott
is.
That's
Hattie.
Hattie.
That's right.
Hattie.
Shout
How
out
how
Hattie.
hard can it be? It's incredibly difficult. Uh, guys, that was a great episode. I want to give an atta girl to Coach Grace, who's going to start giving this podcast some pop and some sizzle, getting it out on the socials in kind of a rebranding way, it's just a valuable podcast that needs to get out there more. So she's going to help us do it. So add a girl to her. Thank you to all of you for listening. And, Flick Money, send us away. It's all yours.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, higher than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Everybody, the roads take me
Take me
home
home
to the
to the
place
place
I
I belong,
belong, West
West Virginia.
Virginia. Mountain Mama, take me home, Coast Country Road.
Man, that John Denver, he knows.
Full of
Bang.
It doesn't get any better than this.